to the RedSeaPodcast. This is Dennis, as always, coming to you after a very positive game, which is very nice for a change. Not a lot of murmuring online, but the usual suspects, and honestly, only positives to talk about. Very happy to be talking about basketball again, but honestly, feels weird without it. The regular season is over. I hope my sound is okay because I did fix some last minute issues on the fly, so do update me if I sound okay or not on everything. And yeah, let's get into it right away. By the way, this is episode 80, which is insane to me. It's crazy how we are just a mere 20 episodes away from episode 100, which is also hopefully, if all goes well, episode 100 will be something equally as special and equally as unique as the 100-year anniversary episode was, which was also, of course, the 1 year anniversary of the show. Another thing that I do want to focus on that I haven't really mentioned the last few shows, of course, Gav was with me on the last show. If you haven't checked out the PAOK review on football, do go check that show out. And yeah, the thing that I did want to mention is that whether you are watching now or after, on my solo shows, if your show is to hop on, the link to the room will be in the chat, in the YouTube chat. It will usually be in the live chat that shows up when the live is done as well, so you can see what I mean. For those of you watching, I have it up on the screen now. You just take that link, you copy it, and you paste it into Google. You don't need to make an account, you don't need to make anything. And if your show is to hop on here and talk with me about no matter the topic that any episode may be talking about, you are more than free to do so. And the company will be more than appreciated, and the opinions will always be shared, judgment free. But yeah, let's slowly but surely get into the game. I do want to open up by giving an applause to the people that were there. As always, I am more than happy for the people that can enjoy Olympiacos PC up close. And honestly, atmosphere was more than good enough today in my eyes. I did see some people moaning and complaining about it, but honestly, it's the specific people that complain about everything. So I'm not really gonna pay much mind to those people. Of course, Chef has been a divisive factor in the team. Sometimes it's been disappointing, but today the people there deserve the praise, and I personally am gonna sit here and give it to them. Another thing I want to mention is that this show will solely be, at least more or less, be just a recap from the game today against Maccabi and a separate show about a regular season recap in general will come within the next few days to week because it's gonna be a while until we see Euroleague basketball again. And I want to do something basketball related in between. So a general regular season recap, hopefully with a special guest, will come very, very soon. So Getting into the game, of course, 99-93, a very high scoring game in general, especially in that first quarter. The game was flying, the threes were flying. Uh, there was a total of 23 three-pointers made from both teams, with us shooting 36.7 and Maccabi shooting 42.9. I want to get the negative out of the way first, because in my opinion today there was simply just one negative, a negative that's been there for a while, and a negative that we need to work on, and that's the free throws. Not horrific today, making 12 out of 21, but in the first half, I'm pretty sure we had zero uh, made. I'm not gonna promise on that, don't take my word on that, but if I'm not completely mistaken, in the first half we had zero zero free throws made. Uh, there was zero free throws attempted in the first quarter, and was it zero out of four? Yes, it was zero out of four in the second quarter. So yeah, that is maybe a negative record in general, but that's surely something that needs to be avoided in the future. That's surely something that needs to be worked on in the future. We've lost many games due to missed free throws in the past, and we don't want a repeat of that for damn sure. And we've lost many leads due to missed free throws in the past. And that's a thing that needs to be worked on by everyone, in my opinion. Like, there is no exception to the free throw problem this season, bar maybe an Alec Peters, who's been the most consistent, in my opinion, in the free throw department. But aside him, it's not really anyone that anyone else, at least, that should be accepted from this uh, general issue that's haunting the team. But except from that, I really can't name another negative today. Sure, some performances may have been lackluster compared to some others, but today gave us so many positives in which I can't be anything less than the happiest seeing how we are heading into the playoffs. Of course, a negative that I can sit here and talk about isn't really a negative on the court, and that's our injuries. Of course, the team has been absolutely plagued all the season, and we are heading into the playoffs with a lot of players that either have been out for months or have been out for a long enough time to just completely kill their form. Of course, there was hope for Mustafa Fall, and there was confusion given that he played in the first playoff game. There was confusion why he didn't play today. There still is a bit of confusion on my end, at least. There is Nikola Milutinov that's been out for God knows how long. There is Keenan Evans that's not played a singular minute this season. And I did run a poll yesterday because I saw the whole subject of Evans staying, Evans going being debated, and I am more than happy to see that the majority of you, I'm pretty sure it was a very solid 95% said that Evans should stay, but I am going to say that live as well. If anyone thinks that Keenan Evans needs to leave the team, please go down below in the comments and tell me why. because I've seen some opinions about Keenan Evans not staying, but I've never really seen, how do I put it? I've never really seen a concrete argument about why Keenan shouldn't be in the team next season. I don't know if Keenan will play in the playoffs. I hope there is a way for Keenan to play in the playoffs, but I honestly don't know. Of course, there is Thomas Walkup that uh, some people were saying would be back and getting minutes today. I had heard that he wouldn't, which is of course what happened. Not Keenan Evans. Apologies. Thomas Walkup didn't play today. Um, there is who else? Christ, this team has a lot of injuries, and there is of course Luca Pildosa that's not ready to play yet. So the injuries have massively plagued this team, and it's a massive concern. It's a huge, huge concern heading into the playoffs. But for the people that are healthy, and hopefully the injured boys will come back better than ever. But for the people that are healthy, it's solely positive. And I'm not gonna focus on the obvious positive of today, but I do want to focus on a positive that I honestly am the absolute happiest about. So instead of starting with um, talking about, of course, Evan Fournier, I do want to start and talk about the man, the myth, and the absolute legend that goes by the name of Moses, right? What a goddamn game by the man. Of course, the highlight of right was that shoeless dunk, or that one shoe dunk, to, to put it a bit better. Of course, you all saw the photo, you all saw the play. Right went in for a dunk, and his shoe got caught up with a Maccabi defender, and he ended up dunking with one shoe. But aside that, god damn, what a game. Two blocks, one steal, and aside that, he put up, if I'm not completely mistaken, let me check, 18, 6, and 3 in 24 minutes. Of course, more minutes by a mile and a half than he's played ever since he returned. More minutes than he's played even in the last few games where he was healthy. And I did point that out on Twitter while I was talking about some highlights. I am gonna put this out here on the show as well because I truly, truly believe it that Moses, right, is back using his words as well at 110%. But in my opinion, that doesn't only mean that he's physically the healthiest he's been, but from what I'm seeing, at least from these early consistent signs with him finally and needing with Milo and Fall being out, with him needing to get more and more minutes, that he's in better form and that he's upped his game even more than even before he was deemed to be out of action for months. I'm pretty sure he had 5 dunks today. He was as perfect as it gets up and down the field, did what he had defensively, was critical offensively, helped the team in every way, shape, and form that he could. And honestly, I'm very happy with him at 5. And I've said it before and I'll say it again that Moses Wright deserves to be a part of this team next season. And I've said my opinion with the bigs. Of course, the playoffs are ahead of us. I won't focus on moves the next season. But I've said my opinion with the bigs that it should be Moses Wright, one of the two big men that we have now, and an upgrade. That's what I think about our big situation. I've said it before, and I'm sure my opinion won't really change. But I want Moses in this team next season as well. But of course, Coach B, just like every coach, knows way, way better than I could ever know. But for now, for the things that's ahead of us, I am more than confident that Moses Wright will show his quality to the absolute highest, like he did today in the playoffs as well, because we need him to. We so desperately need him to. And speaking of a return, speaking of a fiery hot return, and speaking of a return that many people were doubting, and many people seem to have forgotten that despite his deep in form before he got injured, Evan Fournier is one of, if not the second biggest, because he's not a bigger vital piece than Sasha Vezenkov to the team. No one is, in my opinion. But as I've described him many times before, Evan Fournier is the missing piece that this team needed, and Evan Fournier, when needed, is gonna pick this team up on his back and carry it over the finish line. Coming back as his true self at the top of his game, like I said that he would, and like the ones with common logic said that he would, because we know who Evan Fournier is, and coming back today and scoring 27, rebounding 2, and assisting 3 in 21. That's insane, someone would dare say, but also that's Evan Fournier. And words about Evan Fournier honestly aren't enough to describe him. And if we go into the playoffs with the true and absolutely mind blowing Evan Fournier, I'm more confident than I already was, and I'm pretty sure that all of us should be more confident than we already were. And I think it's players like Evan that will turn around the opinion of the absolutely miserable, and sometimes apologies for the joining everyone. It is 10 to 12. It's almost midnight, and if you are listening to me now, I appreciate the company a lot. But as I was saying, that it's players like Evan Fournier that can, if possible at least, because with those people I really don't know what's possible anymore, turn around the opinion of those miserable saying that the year is lost. Moving on to speaking of unbelievably full of quality players that words can't fucking describe in any way. Sasha Vezenkov, the most vital, the most irreplaceable, and the most needed part of this team, dropping 21, 7, and 2 tonight in 30, and along with Evan Fournier and the incredibly solid base that surrounds them. These two will shine in the playoffs, and these two will shut so many heads up. And the saddest thing is that the people that hate on this club the most claim to be its fans. That's the saddest thing. But Christ Almighty, I can't wait to see how these people just act so hypocritically and act like they always supported this team. But for the people that did always support this team and never truly doubted it, God, what an absolutely true pleasure it is to go into the playoffs with performances like this from Wright, from Vezenkov, from Evan, and from the man that I am about to mention, Mr. Consistency, Mr. Every position on the court, and Mr. Three Pointer in the last few games. That's Alec Peters, of course, with 17 and 7 in 24. And God, what absolutely unbelievable form Peters is on. Of course, making 3 out of 6 today, having a very solid 50%. And of course, let's not forget that last time out, he made 8 out of 9 threes, setting, of course, a record. And if I'm not completely mistaken, I'm pretty sure that his percentage from three in the regular was around like an insane 56, his average. It may be a bit less than 56 if someone can check that, even if you're listening to this after, it would be much appreciated. But it's not even the fact that Alec can score so many vital baskets, so many vital threes. He's honestly one of the very few players that you can say can score from absolutely whenever and wherever. I meant to say wherever first, but you get the point. It is wherever and whenever. But it's the fact that Alec, we've said this before, and I'll be more than happy to say this again, is the fact that Alec has not only worked so much more on this game, on his game, even ever since last season where he was the absolute star of this team. But he's worked on his game so much, where now he's being needed to play at the five as a stretch five, and it's not only benefited the team, he's not only performed up to standards, but he's completely shattered those standards and proven once again that this player is just absolutely out of this world in any position that he's needed to play. And as a reminder, for those of you that don't remember, in Olympiacos, Alec has had to play at the three, Alec has had to play at the four, and now Alec has had to play the five. And honestly, this stretch five situation that Olympiacos find themselves into with Peters can be so beneficial in the playoffs. Of course, the shout out for this point goes to the amazing Petway because he said it on Twitter. It's not a, a long term situation. Like, we can't go play small ball with stretch five for like 30 minutes a game. But with how deadly Peter's threes are, and Peter's shots are, depending on the situation, this small ball-ish scenario can benefit our game so incredibly well. And it's not only momentum wise, like today we saw the threes Peter sunk in and the baskets Peter sunk in general were more than crucial in getting us through the line. But even in controlling a game, depending of course on who we are going to get, it may prove to be not only just beneficial, as I said, but this formation, even for like 10, 15 minutes, even for 10, maybe 15, even is too much, can prove to be even game winning for us because Alec is a game winning player off the bench, no matter where he's needed to play and what he actively needs to do. And it's honestly such an absolute honor to see this man having gone from just such as backup when he first came in to being the star of the team and now being arguably our most crucial player of the bench and such a clutch player for Olympiacos in every single way you can truly go on and use that word of clutch player. And God, I hope he stays. God, I hope he renews. And I swear to God that I didn't do this on purpose. Speaking about renewal, though, um, goes Nigel Williams goes. People have said that we shouldn't rush his and Moses Wright's renewals, but especially after the season Nigel has had, having to even play 30, 40 minutes and to absolutely carry the team. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. Over a stretch of like 2, 3 games, Goss has had to carry the games on his back. I think if anyone physically deserves uh, a contract renewal, it's him. Setting, not setting, demolishing his assist record today. Of course, Goss had 2 and 13 assists. It, even though I'm pretty sure it only took him like the first half. He played 25 minutes. I'm pretty sure it only took him 15 to break his assist record. Uh, if I'm not completely mistaken, his assist record was 8. And as I said, he absolutely demolished it, putting up 13 assists, being so, again, the absolute definition of crucial on both ends. He has a massive part to play, not only with this win, but most of our wins this season. And honestly, arguably the best season of his career, and definitely his best season with Olympiacos, despite how the season started for him. Because you have to sit here and think that, of course, as we've said many times, Nigel got attacked at the start of the season. He was the scapegoat of Olympiacos because it's not a lie that his season started badly. And with the minutes he had to take with Walker showing the injuries he did and our gaps at the point guard with the starts he had, honestly, it was such a blessing within the chaos that has been Walkups injury riddle season that goes truly showed his quality, truly showed his positives, truly showed his game, and truly showed that he is an irreplaceable piece to this team. And I think it's more than safe to say that Nigel Williams goes now is Olympiacos' starting point guard up until the end of the season, no matter how the season ends. Because I absolutely love Thomas, and you all know that, but a player of this form, with how crucial the playoff games will be, needs to be starting games, game in and game out, even if Thomas like returns the next game. He needs to be starting games because we need Ghost, and Ghost has proven that he is at the bare minimum absolutely irreplaceable to this squad and this team. And as I've said many times, as I started this argument with, we need to renew Ghost because this team needs Ghost in its depth. If even if there isn't a situation for Ghost to start, Ghost needs to be in the depth of this team because Ghost is one of the perfect players for Bartzokas and he is getting the absolute best and more out of him. And especially if that continues in the playoffs, which I'm sure it will, I still will die on the hill that this team will win the goddamn Euroleague. And I will die on the hill also that Nigel will be a vital part of not only the entire journey as he has been, but going all the way. So yeah, I am in such certainty in saying we should renew, especially goals. But I also think that if Moses Wright continues like today, because Moses will get a lot of minutes in the playoffs as well, he deserves that renewal massively. And going to two players that had very quiet, relatively to the others mentioned, of course, but very good performances. And those, of course, are Sakil McKissick, who, after again a slight dip of form, is back to his game, playing half the game today, playing 20 minutes, dropping 5, 3, and 5 with, let me make sure I don't miss any of his stats. Okay, he didn't have a steal or a block. I don't, my memory doesn't deceive me, but yeah, not only stat wise, even though all across the board he had a very good stat line. Sark put his body on the line today. Of course, he had a very rough fall in trying to make a layup. He was one of the few that made the free throws that he got. He was very crucial defensively as well. And if we get the sack, even if don't get the sack that started the season, that was the best sack we've seen in Olympiacos, but we get this sack that plays 15, 20 minutes and as always just gets the absolute best that he can out of every single second of the minutes he gets and be more than happy with what he'll give the team in the playoffs. And a player that, again, had more of a quiet game, maybe even because there were some big and loud positives of today is Eben Lee also bar some minor mistakes and the the bunch of fouls. Seben's getting more confident, in my opinion. Seben's getting more lively in the game, and he's inducting himself into Bartzokas' ball. And I'm more than happy for him to back up uh, goes and walk up eventually as he also comes in. God, I wish we knew more about Evans. God, I wish we knew more about Evans. Papanikolaou, of course, also 5-4-4. He was there, I feel like, every other play. Amazing defensively, amazing in getting the team going again and stirring up the team. And honestly, part of the free throws, as I said, everyone put up all they needed to and all they could today. Honestly, the only shame in performances, and not even because today he wasn't bad, but the only shame in performances was uh, Tyler Dorsey, who just can't seem to find his great league form in the Euroleague. Missed a lot of shots, some misses. He was just plain unlucky. Didn't really take any selfish shots. He just missed a lot today. And because it seems with the lack of returns from some players that he will need to be getting some minutes in the EuroLeague playoffs as well. I really hope he finds his form there. Better late than never, because Jesus Christ, we need everyone as we head into the playoffs. And as I said, I am not gonna really focus on playoff talk today. I am gonna give you a recap of the regular season in general and how the standings look and how we're heading into the playoffs soon, before, of course, the playoffs start, and how the play-ins are looking as well. Um, so, yeah, that's about it for today. As I've asked you all on Twitter, do drop your preferred opponents down below in the comments. Of course, the team that I prefer for Olympiacos to face in the playoffs, which I'm sure most prefer as well, is Paris, but I'm not afraid of anyone in the slightest. Stay away from the toxicity, stay together as one, because this is Olympiacos and we will always fight together, players, coaches, staff, and fans, and bring the goddamn players on. Bring the goddamn players on. The play-ins, playoffs, playoffs on. My tongue was just absolutely messed up. Bring the playoffs on and bring the goddamn Euroleague back to Piraeus. Thank you all. See all you soon. Hopefully celebrating a Greek Super League. See you soon.